Hello everyone and welcome back. As of now, for the 97th episode, we are going to analyze none other than Velma Dinkley, the titular main protagonist of the Velma show. The worst version of the character ever created, and definitely one of the worst adult swims, if not the worst cartoon ever made. Velma is the absolute antithesis of everything that Scooby-Doo stands for, and I apologize that many of you might be disappointed that I make a video about this. But I believe that it's important for us to analyze this version of Velma, for us to understand its flaws, so such a mistake will not be repeated again. And now, let's begin. Velma Dinkley was born in Crystal Cove, California in 2007 to her parents, Dia and Manny Dinkley. His mother, Dia, migrated from India into the United States and became an author, while her father was an African-American lawyer. And growing up, she had a best friend in Daphne Blake, and they remained on good odds with each other. However, Velma had a passion for being a detective from a young age, and she wanted to solve mysteries. And so, in the Christmas of 2021, she proceeds to find her own Christmas present, which is something that really bothered the family, and her mother went on to buy a new present for her. However, her mother officially disappeared, and so Velma has officially blamed herself for her disappearance. Not to mention that she began to suffer from hallucinations to do all of this. And so, she officially wanted to no longer solve mysteries, and her friendship with Daphne grows strained to the point that now she has a new best friend in Orville, as well as developing a crush on the town's richest boy, Fred Jones. But eventually, by the 2023, everything has officially changed once the town experienced a wave of murders made by a mysterious serial killer, as well as restarting back her search for her mother. Eventually, her relationship with Daphne eventually got better over time, and soon it was discovered that the serial killer was none other than Victoria Jones, Fred's mother, and the one who kidnapped Dia Dinkley in order to recreate Dr. Edna Purdue's experiment of swapping brains, all in order for her to replace her own son's brain with that of a popular girl, so she can have a decent heir to her company. But thankfully, at the end, she has failed. And Velma managed to save her mother and prove her innocence, and managed to save Fred and her own life. And eventually things got better for everyone, at best. Her hallucinations officially stopped, Fred officially came at odds with once how horrible person her mother was, and Norville officially suffered himself from hallucinations due to his guilt over killing Victoria. Although, however, that was soon to be false later, as it's revealed that that is actually her ghost. And her relationship with Daphne got better over time. However, 3 weeks later, a new serial killer arrived in the form of Scrappy-Doo. Project Scooby itself wants to kill all the people responsible for his misery, as well as to escape Crystal Cove. And then her mother fell in love with Fred's father, and both married, and she and Fred has become half siblings. And now she is officially girlfriends with Daphne. And now before we continue, we will stop and ask, is Velma good or evil? And I do understand that many of you are bothered by this question, especially given the fact that this version of Velma is the most racist and sexist version of the character ever made, in tandem with the fact that she basically acts herself mostly like a villain, and she's absolutely selfish and egocentric and barely cares for anyone outside herself and her own family. However, Velma did manage to grow as a character over time and proceeds to develop her own better qualities, as well as rekindling her relationship with the ones around her. However, at the end of the day, the answer is pretty much that Velma, this version of her, is garbage. And finally, in the end, she proceeds to defeat Scrappy-Doo, but she lost her life in the process and became a ghost. And with the possibility for her to be resurrected back on Halloween, but because there will be no season 3, it means that Velma is officially dead. So in the end, who was Velma Dinkley? She is nothing more but a simple teenager who officially got herself into a life of trouble. A teenager that ultimately want to follow her passion and eventually become a horrible person to do a huge tragedy that happened in her life. And a person that could easily be called as one of the worst characters made in animation. Thanks for watching, and I'm sorry if this video disappointed you. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe, and have a nice day.
The movie Serpico is boring. What are you gonna do about that?